If you remember my latest video, we discussed the madness surrounding the OneRing.net when they tweeted a thread in which they claimed the fandom was against Sir Ian McKellen's casting as Gandalf the Grey in the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movie adaptations. Not only did they state the fandom disagreed with this casting choice 20 years ago, but they also went out of their way to state this has been going on for decades, something they failed to prove, mind you. Now, they've taken a new spin on their idiocy and doubled, maybe even tripled down, by going after YouTubers, Netrotic, and just some guy. It would seem as if the One Ring's having some beef to sort out with Netrotic, and from what I gather, they seem to be thinking YouTube content creators such as him and just some guy are somehow rallying other individuals against the Amazon Lord of the Rings series. Nothing's further from the truth. As a YouTube creator myself, I don't like speaking for others. If anyone finds my takes on opinions somewhat similar to theirs and agree with me, that's a different story. However, never, not even once, have I asked people watching to go after anyone I report on in my videos. Same thing with this one right here. Do not engage with the OneRing.net people. They have brought lots of toxicity to the fandom with these idiotic claims and deserve no more attention than the videos we're making about them, and in my case, just mine, simply because I want to inform others so that they are cautious. In the case of Netrotic and just some guy, I have never seen them try to influence anyone into attacking others. I admit that I don't follow them on Twitter and I don't watch them as often as I think I should. Sometimes I miss out on their streams and videos, but what I have seen isn't cause to say that they are organizing people to go against any production or any piece of entertainment. I believe this is what's behind the OneRing.net's actions. I speculate, and it's only that. Though maybe they were offered access, which seems irrelevant really, seeing that they already had some level of access to the Amazon production, but I do so because there doesn't seem to be an explanation as to why do this other than spite the fandom. Since the Amazon series began production, fans have had concerns, some of them raised recently by alleged casting calls for actors to be comfortable performing nude scenes and the hiring of an intimacy coach for the show. Clearly, fans are worried Tolkien's work might get turned into a third world version of Game of Thrones, and that doesn't sit well with them. The OneRing.net seems to disagree with the fans, thinking the show will be awesome, and anyone who disagrees with them is an ist and a foe who should be excluded from the fandom. This was evidenced by their response to just some guy, which they proceeded to delete, and that read, quote, "Respect the lore is becoming coded language for racist perspectives on a text that never describes color," end quote. What in the ever-loving drunk-as-hell habit are you talking about? Do you realize you're talking about the work of a man who spent the better part of his life organizing his papers so they all had coherency and respected the lore he had created? Are you retroactively calling Tolkien racist? When did you abandon reason for madness, you the OneRing.net? This, of course, after you also called him woke and were asking for a definition. A definition, mind you, that you are trying to spin and agree with only if it suits your own bias, as stated by the following exchange, quote, "It was a term used specifically by black American activists doing anti-racist work. At a certain point, white liberals started using the term to mean any form of social conscience, and its original meaning became diluted. At this point, I only see it used in bad faith by trolls. I never hear it used in actual activist groups because it's been diluted to a point of meaningless caricatures. Brands claiming they have a woke product, etc. I found that being precise with language around social justice issues is much more meaningful." End quote. To which the OneRing.net responded, and I quote, "Thank you for this context. It also seems to be sourced from AAVE, which makes it totally inappropriate to use when describing a guy like Tolkien. It gets thrown at us a lot in the last year and seems it has been embraced as a weapon against very specific hateful things." End quote. So, you called Tolkien woke, and you didn't even know what the fuck you were talking about? Not only that, but everyone else responding didn't get your attention. But this person tweeting this, which aligns with your own view and perspective of things, this person is totally okay, and you answer to them because this is what you want to hear. So, you want a biased response, not what others want to say, which renders the rest of this exchange pointless. Quote, "Agree. In my opinion, it gives racists and homophobes a word to hide behind to say, 'I'm not woke,' instead of having to actually describe their beliefs. LOL." End quote. Now, you got it wrong. It's a term used by the East and foes, that much is true, but it's being used by them to say, "I am not East and phobe. See, I am woke like you all. I am an ally. I am against freedom of speech and tolerance." That's how it's being used. The term is being taken by SJWs to paint themselves under the light of sainthood they don't really have. They use it as a flag to attack anyone who doesn't conform to their worldview and expresses a different opinion. In short, it has been hijacked to propagate cancel culture. The term may have meant something in the African American vernacular at some point, that is true, but today, unfortunately, it's been used to describe the maniacal attitudes and aggressions of these so-called progressive SJW feminists and whatever else. Woke now means more of a cult in which people think they can mess with others for having different opinions in the name of helping minorities get representation, but in reality only for them to be regarded as saviors of these minorities. But the OneRing.net won't hear about it. No, sir, of course not. And to paint their delusional attitudes, the next part of this exchange, quote, "I appreciate this teachable moment," end quote. To what the other user responded, quote, "I so appreciate that you guys want to engage with these topics and are open to listening. Where the fuck are they willing to listen to others? Where have they proved their open attitude towards discussion and a debate? The only thing that they have done is attack a fandom, target specific members within it, shut any opinion down, and blocked anyone who disagrees with them with mass blocking. Is that opening up to listening? Really? They're acting like petulant children. And pardon me, but this crap sounds like coming from the filthy mouth of Sauron, none other than Clifford Broadway, a well-known leftist who was against Trump and used his Twitter account for that purpose. Now, is that wrong? No, of course not. His private life is his own, but now that the OneRing.net spouts this river of nonsensical remarks, one wonders whether this is not the work of Broadway and his stupid ideology being furthered into the name of Amazon's latest entry into Tolkien world. At least to me it seems like so. It's about time we got our fandom back from these shilling orcs and get it all cleaned up from idiotic, useless rhetoric about social issues that shouldn't even concern the fandom. As individuals, you can like and love anything you want. You can advocate any cause and pursue its fulfillment. But you can't, nor should you be allowed to indoctrinate, force or manipulate a fandom to bend to your will. That's the way of Morgoth and of Sauron. So, if you're going to behave like a pathetic third world version of a Dark Lord, then be gone. And please, don't let the Black Gate of Mordor hit you on your way out.